Okay, good morning traders, and welcome to the Bookmap All Markets live webinar. We're going to go through the order flow in the live market here using Bookmap and understanding the context between the order flow, which is the passive orders, the aggressors, which are the market orders, and the market structure. And this context allows us to understand the behavior in the auction process and traders' appetite for specific price levels, and that will give us an edge. Right. So, a general disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning, everybody. Over in Discord, good morning, Alois and others, and over in our Discord room as well here. Hold on just a minute. Let me get there. Right. Yeah. Oh, good stuff. Lots of action in there over on our Discord room. Guys, you might want to consider going over to our Discord room. We have all sorts of content in here. So this is the All Markets room here. You can see all sorts of screenshots, insightful stuff that traders are posting. In fact, you might want to consider not only this here in the All Markets room. We have many rooms in here. Here's another one: Crypto with John Slazas, the Algo Boys, Options with Doug, Traders Lab with Tom B, Futures with Mayhem, Crypto Lifer, etc. We have a pretty robust calendar here. You might want to come over and partake in it. We also have the Bookmap Academy, which you might want to partake in. Let me show you where you can find information about that. If you go to bookmap.com, and then you can go to our Learning Center directly from here in Education. Just click on this link here, and this will take you to the Learning Center. The Getting Started course, how to use a Bookmap, all sorts of videos in here about how to add symbols and navigate around the chart, volume dots, all sorts of stuff here. Very short, concise videos. We also have the Market Mechanics course that goes through a lot of what we go through in this live webinar. Is being able to understand the order flow here at a more mechanical micro level, but this is how the markets work. It is important to understand how the markets work, and then you can extrapolate that information to much higher context and setups within the market. All right, so there's the course, and then there's also this strategies and setup course that we are putting together. We have one in here right now, which is a momentum pattern, a continuation pattern using a flag, for example. There are many different kind of continuation patterns. So you can see that the education in here is a little different. We're not saying, oh, flag pattern or head and shoulders pattern. Really understand what it is. It's a momentum or continuation strategy. Flag pattern is just one of them, and we're just using the name flag pattern so you understand better the momentum behind the move and the continuation. You'll see it all over the place on all sorts of time frames. So if we look right now at the S&P E-mini, you can see here's a flag pattern right here. Okay, and you can see that there's flags within flags. In fact, if you zoom in here, you can see a nice move to the upside here. Okay, breakout of this little range, pause, continuation. It is this understanding of the continuation that we want to grasp. When we understand this in the order flow, then it doesn't matter if it's a flag pattern or whatever, we own it. We understand the momentum. Okay, that is the key. Not understanding that, oh, it's a flag pattern. Anyway, identifying it within the order flow is key, right? So look at this pullback here. You just can't make this stuff up. This little pause in here, look at the pullback to it. Look at high liquidity in here, and then buyers back up above it, okay, for the move higher. All right. So in fact, I've got a few trades I'm going to go over with you guys. So let me know if you have any questions on any of this stuff in here, or what you want to go through. This is the All Markets webinar, so we're happy to show the order flow on multiple markets and instruments. All right, so let's see here. Anything else? God, really good stuff you guys are posting. It's really great to see. All right, yeah, Slowdown has a new image in here. Yeah, this is what I'm working on, Slowdown. Precisely, it's going to be something similar to this. For the next barrage of videos for a reversal. Reversals are a little more difficult to understand, but we'll go through it in detail when we get to that new content. All right, so let's jump in here and read the order flow and see what's going on right now in the current market. That's what we're here for. We will go through a few trade examples in here, just a few lower time frame scalps that I took earlier this morning, and I want to go through my trade management and my trading decisions in here, which we've been doing lately. So I hope it's helpful for you guys to understand how to also utilize and trade using Bookmap. All right, so what do we have in here? Boy, it's really kind of in the middle. You see the move back above this level in here. This is a key pivot level right here. Okay, so you can see the breakout, and then it stayed above it. It tested down below it. It came back down to this range in here, just peaked below it, and it came right back up into the range. Okay, now look at these guys in here and look at the buying. So I would look for this buying to continue on up to 4,800, the figure. We have liquidity here at 98, 99, and the figure at 4,800. Okay, so a bit of a pullback at the moment, but looking for more buyers back up here, and then the continuation move. Now, we're looking for that. Let's see. Do we have all the pieces here? Well, it's not too clear, to be honest. I would probably pass on this one. I'm still looking for it to trade up here. They're pulling liquidity in here. That's a good sign. But look at this. See how it's dark here? We don't have the bid supporting this really. Now the aggressors just came in and moved it here, and you can see it's a stop run as well. Okay, so that's the move we were looking for, but was it high probability? Okay, and we would say no due to the order flow in here. And here's why. Look at the bid. Okay, we've seen this so many times and been burned so many times that we see high liquidity filled in here. We get some more buying in here, and okay, this pop happened. Okay, someone came in and swept the order book very, very quickly here, and also ran some stops. All right, so but we don't really have the pieces in here that telegraphs that this move is going to unfold. Okay, we don't have the bid at a higher level in here. They're starting to pull some liquidity in here, which is good, but this liquidity transacted. Okay? So we're not really looking for this as giving us an edge in here. Now, it worked out nicely. We've traded up to 4,800. Now you can see a little bit of support in the order book here on the bid. This is what we were looking for earlier. Problem is now we're higher. Okay? Do you trust this? Do you want to get in up here? And I would say no, especially look at the auction up here. I don't see too many buyers. Okay, so actually, let's see if we get a few sellers hitting the bid here and try to trade right back down to 99.5. Okay, so again, not high probability, but that's what we'd be looking for due to the order flow that we currently are viewing. Okay, so almost got there. Look at this liquidity here at 0.75 here. It came in and skewed the auction in here. This is what we were talking about earlier, how this can affect the market. And they came into the order book. And what did we get? We got sellers hitting the bid down to this 99 3/4. And now we came back up here and we found some buyers trading into this level here, and some sellers as well, though. So it's not really giving us too much information right now on direction. Okay, the behavior in the auction here, and that's how we're reading it here. Okay, so now we've traded down to this 99 and a half, and it did transact here. Okay, so anyway, yeah, we have, you can see the little jump in liquidity down in here, but this is pretty far away from where we were, right? In the current price. Now, it's just, yeah, it unfolded, but it is a stop run, and someone swept the order book like this, and we see the move higher here. All right, I still, in this little bit of order flow in here, I see sellers, so I'm looking for them to try to hit the bid again, back down into 97 and a half or so, just due to what we're seeing in here. It's already unfolding. A very, very quick move, or somewhat quick move. Catchable, though. But anyway, just looking for these tests into some of these areas on these lower time frames. All right, let me see if there's any questions here. Can I define absorption? So show an example. Yes, absolutely. Shark Blue, no problem. Let me check over on Discord. Any questions at the moment? No. Good morning, Dieter. And others. Okay. Yeah, absorption is the classic definition, or the proper definition of absorption, is that traders can't, the aggressors here cannot get through a level, because on the other side we have passive orders absorbing. Now they might be also a combination. It could be iceberg orders, it could be, which are passive orders, they're just not shown in the order book. It could be limit sell orders, or it could be a combination of both. Okay, so that would be absorbed. So let's take a look at this level here. So did we even trade up into, see, we didn't really trade into here. It came shy of it, of this 02 level right here. So didn't, you can say maybe it was absorbed here at this level here, one tick below. And we didn't find any appetite by buyers to take it higher here. But when we see the classic definition of it, we see them trade into it like this, but they can't get through it. Okay, they're just reloading, or there's just massive liquidity here on the offer, and they cannot trade through it. So this one broke. Right, we found more buyers, aggressive buyers, than passive orders. Okay, passive limit sell orders here. Okay, so now the next level is up here at 04. Okay, let's see if we get absorption maybe up at 04. Might have to go show you via a stock. We can take a quick look. Maybe we're at Apple. Great, we're trading into a level right now. So very high liquidity in here in Apple, in a stock. Almost 12,000 shares up here. And so far, look at the appetite. The buyers want it, but they have not tangled yet with this liquidity yet. Okay, so we're still looking for that test into this liquidity, and there they are. Okay, so they did transact. Now, was it completely absorbed? No. There's still more buying pressure, right? So if there is more buying pressure through that area, well, it's just telling us there are more aggressors than there are limit sell orders at these areas. Okay, so you can't find a really classic example for you at the moment, but you can say any of these levels here were absorbed. Technically here, they didn't even trade into this here. But what about this one here? Do they trade into it? Yeah, it looks like no, they didn't even trade into this 81.90 here, just shy of it. Okay, so now Shark Blue, let's go through this. So uh, and we can talk about this in terms of a zone of what absorption is. So although it traded through this, we want to understand how much did it trade through. Is there still buying pressure up here? And I would say yes, because look at this up here, and look at the sellers down here. Now they traded a little bit lower, but look at the buyers are back again. So I'm still looking for buyers to lift it up into 82 and 16 cents here. Okay, there's still buying pressure. And now we're getting this back and forth in here, but we know they're auctioning up here, so we're looking for them to take it further. Okay, and here we go. Okay, so they're just taking it up into that 82, and there's a little bit of skew in the order book as well. There we go. Now let's see here. Okay, there's the transaction. There's still more buyers. See how they were able to lift it higher. All right, so anyway, I hope that makes sense. We're not seeing a great example on the way up here. There's just more buyers, as simple as that. Okay, it's interesting to see absorption when you have an iceberg there, especially in stocks. I've seen it many times where let's suppose there's high liquidity up at a level here, and the aggressors take it up into that level, and there's someone on the other side, and they just keep reloading, and they're getting on tremendous size. And a lot of times what happens is at that point is there's no more buyers. They've been totally absorbed. There's no more aggressive buyers. So this has been a wall. It's hit a wall, and basically they have absorbed all of that buying pressure, and that would be absorption. Okay. All right, now we can take this further though, and understand it at a much deeper level when we start to look at the context around these levels in here. How did it trade through it? And this is really important, and this is where you can gain a lot from understanding Bookmap and the order flow. Was there a lot of buyers through this level? Did it exhaust out? Exhaustion would be the opposite of absorption. There is a lack of trading at a level. Here would be exhaustion up here. Okay, see, there's no one trading here on a retest here, in fact. Okay, so now again, we can start to use this in terms of understanding variations of absorption and exhaustion. Okay, so this one here, they traded through it, but and not bad, and we know it's likely going to be a stop run. Here we don't have stops and icebergs with stocks yet. Okay, but then there's basically pop through it, and then look at the buying pressure in here. There's none. Okay, very, very little. Sellers will come in and they'll move it back down to a mean reversion type of area, or other areas of like a high volume node, or a lot of transactions, or a structural area, which again is based on the order flow and the volume. That's why we talk about this context and structure so much. Okay, excellent. Yeah, it's a great question, and we continue to go over it. We do have a if you go to our let's see, is it under? I know it's under user guide here, from help in Bookmap. That'll take you to the knowledge base in here, and we have it in here under, I thought it was up here. Let me just take a quick look. It's down here. Hold on a minute. I'll find it for you. Glossary. Here it is under help. Okay. And you can read through this. Absorption is right here at the top. Okay. The other list of definitions you can find here, and just scroll down. So here's the link to it. Let me put it into the chat for you. Okay. In Discord, as well as in YouTube. Hold on. There you go. Yeah, Alois, I'm on 7.5. It is alpha. I've had it crash a few times for me, but it's been pretty stable. I would hold off and for now, and just going. And I'm just kind of getting used to some of the features and understanding how it works. Now, see how we traded through this? It's just moving too fast. But look at the auction up here. Okay, and we know that they're trading into this and they're trading above it. I'm looking for this to continue here. This is classic continuation here, trading up into these areas of high liquidity. Okay, now this is why we can look at in terms of your momentum moves in here, which are so important. So important. They're so easy compared to maybe trading in a range or whatever. Just grab that momentum and ride it. Okay, so but we can also look at, here's beautiful kind of flag pattern. Here's a nice strong move. Okay, it kind of stops here, but then we see the breakout, a bit of a pause in here, and another strong move in here. Okay, so that move is completed. Now, what about now up here? Well, I don't see so much buying, so I'm actually looking for sellers to try to drive it back down to here, or back down into this, probably around here. Makes sense, around 82.30 or so. Okay, if we get the sellers. Now, we just retested here and we don't see so many sellers. So that idea here is off at the moment. Okay, I need to see sellers down here for that continuation or that reversal move and retest back into the mean here. All right, so now we're back up here and we are auctioning and we are finding buyers. Okay, so let's see if we can come back up here at 82.60, find a few more in Apple, and then break out again. Now, not so many, right? So holding off, right? Not looking at it. We want to see the this context between that structure and see the kind of exhaustion up here. Okay? And we're finding sellers here. Okay, sellers should be able to drop it back down to here now. Okay, and this liquidity, okay, which actually kind of pulled here, but let's see if they can. Okay, looking for sellers down at the bottom edge here, 51. And some sellers, and let's see if they can drop it back down into about 42, maybe a bit lower as well, 34. Okay, we got down to 44, and the book is starting to show a little more interest now. Okay, so yeah, anyway, my stop would have been a break even, or maybe even take some when I saw these buyers come back in. Okay, so that would be that, right? So let's go over a few trades actually now these are very quick trade examples, but I want to continue to go through these with you guys. I think you'll find it very helpful. And let's go back to here. Okay, so this was pre-market, and we had data this morning. It was the New York, what do you call it? The Empire State Manufacturing Index. Okay, and it was pretty down, and that was actually good for the market. But we'll see the data here in a minute, and I'll just go through it. So, what do we see here? All right, this is what I saw: move up, pull back into this little nook in here. Okay, where we have that kind of flag pattern. We covered that earlier in the webinar. Traded up into, traded through the high liquidity here and on up. Now we have a pullback. Okay, pretty steep pullback all the way back down to this swing here. We also have VWAP here if you guys follow your VWAP. I just kept it in. I'm not a VWAP trader, but what did we have? What was I looking at in here? Well, I was looking to get long due to the stronger move to the upside here in general. Okay, this move here, right? Now this is a pretty steep pullback all the way back to down to here. Now this move, and what we were kind of talking about earlier, we're talking about like how much more does this move have in it? And we're talking about average true ranges. So, you know, you can see these small little moves, but this is why, you know, these measured moves can be really important to understand. Look at how consistent these are in here. In fact, let me just take it here. Take this one, okay, and move it to here, to here. This one started to gain a little momentum, and it went through. Okay, so due to that, we're in an uptrend. We're hitting liquidity down here. We're at a swing. Okay, this is the zone I marked up. I'm looking for trading into. And then I'm also looking at an add-on in here called Market Pulse, which you guys are pretty familiar with. We've gone over it a lot. And in fact, I have stops and icebergs here. I have iceberg buying down here. I have a stop run as well. But let's just take the stops and icebergs off and just look at the clarity here of Market Pulse. Okay, so I have Market Pulse. I know that I'm looking for a buyer actually in here somewhere. And I'm not getting anything. Now, what I got here, and this is you know, buying the bottom basically. Okay, I'm not getting the bottom tick. However, I'm waiting for a little more confluence or correlation in here. So what I got was Market Pulse. Okay, I have my higher time frame levels here that I just covered. We have the swing here, then we also have the this kind of capitulation move, and then I had the order flow. Okay, I saw the buyers come in, and I saw this in here. When I saw this in here, that's when I got in. Okay, 300, and as one large player skewed the order book in here tremendously. Okay, so it's probably about 70 here. So this is maybe like 100 lot. You can see our large lot tracker with this white line here. Okay, so I'm in. Right, and I'm looking for just taking a single here. We're going to cover going over singles and building confidence in here. Okay, all in, all out. All I'm looking for in this move is a move back up to the top of the range here, and I'm out. Okay, it gave it to me rather quickly, rather immediately. But these were my reasons for it. That's why I got into the trade, and that's also why I took my profit. All right, now I have another reason for my profit taking up here. Okay, first off, hitting a single, building confidence. Okay, I have data here at 8:30. Okay, look at the liquidity kind of void in here, that's a data release. You know, so you can look for that as well. I don't know what the data is going to be. I don't know how the market's going to react. So I'll look for something else later. All right, so anyway, the market viewed that negative data as bullish. It went up and then went all the way back down here, and then again very similar to that other trade. A little bit different is this. I got in here on a buy, okay, after a move back down into a zone that I had marked up. Okay, it is this zone in here. And then I'm looking for, I know that there's been some strong selling. And then I had a kind of a triple bottom in here, and I don't see too many sellers down here. Okay, so I know buyers are starting to come in. I'm looking for buyers to take it back up and retest maybe back up to about here. Okay, 01. That's what I was looking for. All right, so what I ended up doing was taking like a 2-tick loss or so. Yeah, something like that. And a scratch trade. Or I'm sorry, I moved my take profit down to here at 4,800, the figure in this little kind of zigzag here. Okay, so that was my concept. I know it's kind of counter trend trade, at least for this move to the downside, but I'm looking for a pop back up. Okay, it started to work here. Then I started to see. Okay, now these are on lower time frames, but it's the same concepts in here. I started to see that from my perspective, Yeah, that's good to see these buyers, but I start to see sellers. I don't see buyers, too many buyers up in these little peaks here. I start to see sellers. We're starting to break a small trend line. I'm seeing the selling coming in here. And that's where I got out, right? When I saw that selling in here, I did not want to have the risk, have it come back down here or here, okay, and test into this 96 liquidity in here. So I raised my stop up when I started to see that selling coming in. Somewhere in here, you can see me raise the stop loss up here, and then I got hit, okay? And that was that. Now, it protected me, okay? So I reduced the risk and took a small scratch or small loss here. And then I didn't have to, I was looking for this to unfold here, okay? So I'm not willing to stay in that trade any longer. All right, hope that helps. You guys have any questions on that? Okay, there are many different ways to trade in here, but I'm just going through what I did and my trading decisions on some of these little levels in here. Okay, so just 2 trades. Okay, so BAP, about the singles. Yeah, hitting the singles. Well, yeah, like I was covering last week and the week before, we were going through kind of leveraging a position or scaling in. And it's more advanced, but and there's a lot more risk. So we can just focus on building confidence in hitting singles. Okay, now there's something I want to mention about this. Hitting singles is great, and it will build that confidence. It's hard to make a lot of money. It depends, not necessarily, but scaling and leveraging, you're going to make a lot more, right? But be careful. You have to know your setup extremely well, and you have to know how to hit singles out of it first. Once you do, then you can leverage it. You can scale in, scale out. There's all sorts of things you can do. Take profits along the way, take stop losses along the way, add more into it. I mean, it's wide open at that point. Okay, but trading this way, hitting singles, can be very, very challenging to have a positive P&L. Okay, so don't worry about it too much. Just focus on your setup, what exactly you're looking for, and then executing. Okay, some will work, some won't, but go through your decision-making process. Is what I would recommend. It helps me. And yeah, look, 8:30. I'm not going to hold this through data. I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, this worked out great. It came up to this liquidity up here. That would have been a nice 10-point move, right? But I'm not willing to hold it for that. This was my decision. I want it in here due to what we covered. I want it out here due to what we covered. Okay, that's it. Look for the next one, and that's exactly what I did. Okay, and this one in here was a small loss. Okay, but I have my reasons also for this one. All right, so that's what I would recommend, or if you're new or beginning, and just to look for some simple trade ideas and to hit the single, make a little bit of money out of it, and build that confidence and look for the next one. Okay, you will really get to know your strategy, your setup, and that's the key here. Okay, keep it in check. Keep your focus and your mind in check in here. Follow your setup. Okay, that's why you have to go back and you have to go through your setup. You have to know it. All this trader psychology, yeah, we're going to cover trader psychology more in the future. Different topics than you might expect, though, because there's trading psychology is is very important as well. But very simple things. Like, for example, don't trade with money you can't afford to lose. Don't try to pay your bills or pay your rent with your trading at if you don't know your setup. You have to feel comfortable taking your trade. If you don't, your mind's gonna be going a million miles per hour in here, and likely you're gonna mismanage it and hold on to it, add to a loser, etc. And you can have something like this be like $1,000 loss easily. Okay, so and it still goes against you, and then you're all upset. The whole thing is unwound. Okay, so really the key for trader psychology from my perspective has been, can you manage your trade? And that's it. No matter, I really I hate to hear about like, oh, I you know got in an argument with my girlfriend this morning, and like the cat threw up on the floor. I'm not trading, right? Okay, that's fine. I'm in a bad mood. I can't trade. All right, that's fine. That's fair enough. If you can't manage your trade, no matter what the context might be, then, and you know that, then don't trade. Then that's good. Okay, but things happen all the time. It's just the question of, can you manage your trade? Some people, you can get an argument with whomever, your boss or like your partner or whatever it might be, and you can manage the trade just fine. Maybe you're hungover. Maybe you can manage a trade better when you're hungover. Who knows? It doesn't matter. Just, can you manage your trade? Can you keep it together? Can you follow your plan? That's it. When it comes down to it, that's it. Okay, can you execute? Right now, there's all sorts of things that might keep you from executing, and we'll go over some of those. Like one of them is trading with scared money. Not understanding leverage. Oh God, it can wipe you out. Here of the book map. All right, guys. Well, anyway, let's continue on in here. So those are a few just very small trade examples and some of the thought process behind it. Let's get back to the order flow and see what's going on in here. All right, so yeah, we see more buyers back up into this liquidity here at 15. Okay, so we are trending. Okay, so far, let's just zoom out a little bit more here. And we continue to look for this to trend until we don't. So we're just trading into 15 right now. And let's take a look. This might be our absorption example. Let's see. Okay, there we go. More trading into it, but now where are the buyers? Okay, where's the order book in here? Look at the offer in here starting to show a little bit more. Okay, and we're still finding some buyers. Okay, now we're see the skew here, little skew here on the offer. It's not a whole lot. Now the skew on the bid. And this is where we're going to learn. Hey, do we still have buyers interested in trading up into 15? It's hard to judge right now. Okay, so we're just going to stay away. So far, Shark Blue, this has been the best example of absorption right here. Can't get through it. Okay, so sellers coming in, trading back. We've traded back down to this little area where they broke out from, and we're likely to get a bounce here. Just a small bounce, not looking for much, maybe back up to about 13.5. And there's liquidity at 13. Okay, and we found buyers interested in trading up to 13. So there's our pullback. All right, now, do we still find more buyers in here? No, there's some exhaustion. There's some selling. Now we're finding a bit. Okay, and now they're trading back up here. There we go. Okay, that's our pullback, basically. And now we're finding our sellers. And sellers should be able to move it back down to the swing here, 11 and a quarter, maybe 10. No, still finding buyers up in here in this little zone. Still finding buyers. Okay. All right, so buyers now, we're actually kind of looking for buyers to try to take it back up to the swing in this 15 liquidity here. They got to get through this other areas of liquidity in here, but we're finding the buying interest. So to be honest, it's not the greatest either. The relative volume is what we're going to be looking at in here between this selling versus this buying. So actually, sellers are still in control, to be honest. Okay, there's more selling in here and there's not too much buying in here. Okay, this is a point we've been talking about a lot actually in the order flow or the transactions. So to make better trading decisions, we want to understand all of this in here and then how it relates to people in the auction process now. Okay, so if we do get buyers up in here and a lot, well, then they'll overtake these sellers and we will get the move up into 15. Okay, but right now at this level here, sellers are in control of this. Okay, we're trading up into our 14 level right now. And let's see. Okay, we found some buyers. All right, so buyers are likely go up into 15, and I think we can probably get a breakout here as well. And we'll get we should see a stop run back up above this area in here. All of these sellers in here will likely have to flip and become buyers up in these areas up in here. And we found some buyers. Let's see if they can come back again here. Book is starting to show a little bit of action in here at a pretty low level though. Let's get a few more buyers here. Nope, didn't get them. Let's up right here at 14. There we go. There's a few more. A little more than that. A little more than that, and then we can come up into 15. Let's see it. Just not enough in here to be convincing, right? So this is starting to look pretty good, but up here, no. But we want to see these big dots, like, you know, bigger than this one, but green up here. So these are the guys that can move the market here. Okay, we'll rotate back up. Do we find our buyers? Still a tiny bit of buying up here. It's nothing really to speak of. Let's look at it here a little bit more. Nope. Still, they're just nibbling away. It's not enough. Okay, so we're going to really zoom into this little auction in here and see what's going on. Here we go. Now that should be enough. Let's see the buyers now. They should be able to lift it. We do not have much on the bid to help us here. So it's all about the aggressors in here. They have to come up and attack this liquidity. Okay, and that's only one element that we have though. It's not as strong as if we have a bid and then a reaction to that bid. Okay, so in fact, look at the liquidity now. So we had the volume up here. That was starting to look pretty good. We didn't have the order book on our side. In fact, we had the opposite. Okay, we had these sellers here and here in the order book. Now, the appetite is here for the buyers again. They are interested, so they are trading up into it. Okay, well, we didn't know that. We didn't have all the pieces in here. Okay, so and we knew that looking at this example here. Right. So is it high probability? Is it something you want to really lean on? And the answer would be no. Right. So we did get to 15, but look at the sellers come streaming in right after that. Okay, another absorption, totally absorbed up here, shark blue. Really good example. They cannot get through it. Okay. All right, guys. Well, let's take a quick break here, and I want to yeah. Well, there's a conversation with Demo Trader and BAP. Yeah. Well, we're just looking at order flow setups in here, but they can be on all types of time frames. So far, for example, like if we zoom out in here, we see the high liquidity up here at this 15 level, and they can't get through it, right? But we do see the buyers up here. Okay, and in this move in here, buyers are they're moving the market. So they're still moving the market. So what are we looking for then? Well, maybe pullbacks, okay, and some sort of like kind of channel in here, and then continuation, right? So this is what I want to go over in here in terms of higher time frame market structure. Okay, because a lot of you guys want to trade off of the higher time frames, which is great. We can do that. We just want to go through as many examples as we can here in this webinar in the live market. And then you can take that knowledge into the higher time frames. So like, look at this here. Look at this little double bottom and finding buyers. Okay, great. Buyers should be able to test into 15 now. Okay, on the higher time frame, that's an easy one, or a little medium time frame here. I would look for them to trade up into 15 and break out here, okay, and then come up and maybe into 20. All right, just based off of that. Okay, so we had to zoom in and see this little kind of double bottom in here, and then looking for these buyers to trade up here. And now it's been absorbed up here at 15. Now we have enough buying pressure, it looks like, to trade into 15 and through it. Okay, let's see, do we have enough buying pressure? Okay, the bid is up here at 10. That's good. Okay, on this time frame. Okay, this is the thing that we just have to sit and wait. Basically, now there's, see this guy at 15 is pulling. See that? All right. So then let's see these buyers like lift it right through. Okay. Still finding buyers. Just looking for them to take it through now. Okay. And then we would project the move up into somewhere around this 20 level here. All right, guys. Well, that's what we see so far. Until we see something different, then we'll cover it. Okay. So it's still in play here, still kind of working itself out. Okay. This is exactly why we go through a little bit lower time frame, a lot lower time frame sometimes. All right, higher time frame stuff, guys. Let's take a look. We can zoom out. We can take a look at our candles. We can put more data into Bookmap. We can also go over, we went over market pulse for this kind of as a correlation here, or confluence, I'm sorry, with that trade idea in here. And then let's look at a higher time frame candlestick chart in here. The daily here on the left-hand side, the hourly here in the middle, and the 15-minute here on the right. Now, we're just kind of going green here on the daily after going below the swing, these swings down here. Okay, well, at least the swing from the previous session, and then you can see the other session here. Just we're above it, but we're finding buyers now. Okay, so I'm looking for buyers on this daily chart to come up to maybe 48.36 on the S&P. Here we have the hourly just filled the gap in here. And then here we have the 15-minute chart, and this is showing us some nice stuff. Okay, here's the nice move back up, filled the gap, retesting back up in here. And then let's see if we can get our buyers. And then the next stop that I would be looking for on this 15 level, or I'm sorry, is with just a few points up here, like 17.5 or 19 up here, this swing here. And then we have our another swing up in here from previous session. Okay, so that would be around 23 to 24. Okay, now there's going to be a lot of people taking profits here in the gap fill. Okay, so we got to be kind of careful up here. Okay, you can see we've already retested it and not seeing the continuation quite yet. It's still bullish here. But we're going to watch it kind of closely here, because we on this higher time frame we just filled the gap, and we want to kind of watch and see if a lot of profit taking comes in, or if we just go right through and come up into these higher levels here. Guys, note another thing on these higher time frames. So this down here would be a cluster. Okay, there's actually two clusters. There would be one down here, and it kind of broke out, and then there's another cluster in here. Let me mark it up here, show you what I mean. This is it. So this would be like kind of one cluster and then another cluster in here. Okay, now we know there's going to be volume dots in there, etc. What I want to note is this. See that this little area in here is our pivot point, basically, where the buyers came in and kind of took control of this market, and then we see the move to the upside. Well, here's the move to the downside into that cluster in here, the first one. It almost made it to kind of where we see the divide between the two, and then we see a big wick here, and we see buyers come back in. Okay, so this concept in here is the same thing that we're looking at in Bookmap, exactly the same thing. Okay, but in Bookmap we have so much more. We have exactly what that those clusters look like, how much volume came in. We know exactly how much. We also can look at the tail here on this wick. Let's do that. We'll go back and take a look at this and see what it looked like down here in this move. And then when did buyers come back in? Okay. Okay, struggling up here. We got up to 15 again. Okay, and it was pretty clear sailing actually for these buyers, and they didn't take it. Right? So yeah, it's still being totally absorbed up here at 15, and there's not much liquidity here either. Okay, so yeah, this whole idea that we're looking for and looks so clear on the 15 or on this higher time frame in Bookmap is now not so clear at all, right? Sellers coming in, hitting the bid down into this swing here, and if they can continue, we have liquidity here that's being pulled. Next level is 08, but we're looking at these swings in here, right? This is another reason why we want to look at these. Look at the liquidity in here. There's a kind of a nasty move here. Move to the upside, and then a quick move and dump to the downside here. Okay, so sellers coming in and moving it away from that area now. All right, so this is what seemed to look so clear on that higher time frame. Now we're getting a total shift in here in the order flow. In fact, this is something to look for in here. If they're going to pull and you can't find the buyers take it through there, and you start to see some selling coming in here, we are looking for the drop, right? Now, it was a little more complex than that in here. We see the kind of move up, the move down, and then now we've come all the way back down to VWAP and 4,800 here. Okay, so this is why we want to be very careful and very aware of what's going on in here. And we looked at this not only on this time frame in here, which when we were here was looking pretty good, right? And when we were also in here, I would still say, yeah, this is looking great still. Okay, still holding. We're just looking for those buyers. And then what happened? Well, we found the sellers come in and move this market dramatically lower in a very short time frame. Okay, we're going to see massive stop runs in here, etc. So again, want to read that order flow. Want to look for the clarity in here in that order flow. And if it's not starting to work out, we protect ourselves. Okay. We also looked at the higher time frame and talked about this potential selling to come in here, because we do have this gap being filled and just above all of these little swings in here. Now, I was looking, because we were green at that time, and we also saw good order flow in here, looking for the move to 20. Okay. But we have to kind of reverse that decision. When we get back up into here, they pull that liquidity and they can't get through. Something's off, and something's not working here. Can't find enough buyers to get through that area. They should have been able to get through at this point. I hope that makes sense. Instead, we get our sellers in here back down to the swing, and then get a little bit of volatility in here, and then sellers take it. All right, let's take a look at our order flow now. Okay, here's another pivot area. Not bad. Okay, above or below the line here. Okay, so above it, below it, back to it, break out, back to it, and continued on up. So now we spiked below it, and we're back up above it now. Okay. Yeah, floating iceberg, Alois. I didn't have the icebergs on. I was really curious about that myself. Like, if they're going to pull here, we know they're absorbing up here already. So if we do see an iceberg in there as well, let's take a look. And I'll take the market pulse off for now. Not really, huh? I mean, we do have an iceberg here. And then we have a bunch of icebergs down here. Okay, buying. Okay, right before. Or right up here, they're buying. Is Rob, are you in here today? You are. Yep, there you are. Okay, great. So this is what I want to mention in here, and because you've in the Bookmap Academy meetings, we're talking about, or you're venting your frustration. But this is trading, and this is why we want to look at the order flow and understand this auction process in here. If we're looking at our candlesticks in here, we don't know. Right? We don't know what's unfolding here. And then this did give us some insight in here. We were looking at something else at that time, but they should have been able to take it here, right? There's no reason why. We see the buying up in here, and they pulled the liquidity beforehand. And why aren't we finding, they were attacking this liquidity before, and now they can trade through it, and we're not finding them. And nor was it a lot of iceberg, or very, very few in here. There's a few, not many in here. And you can see that it failed and shook everybody out. Look at the just ugly stop run to the downside here. Okay. Everyone that was kind of hanging out up in here are stopped out to the downside. What I'm trying to get at is, Rob, this is it. The market's just, it's not you, it's the markets. They're dynamic, they're constantly changing, and it can flip and it can switch. The more we can kind of understand that behavior, the more sense it makes. Well, at least we understand that why it did it. We see that the buyers or sellers came in. This is what we're talking about. If you're trying to kind of read this and make sense of it, sometimes it just doesn't make sense, and that's fine. I mean, like this in here was a pretty wild move. Okay, we see the move to the upside, the move to the downside, a retest back to where it broke from, or structure. Sellers come back in and move it. Okay, so sellers moving it at that point. Okay, but this in here, wow, who knows, don't beat yourself up about it in here. And this is why, again, it's reflection off of these things in the order flow. And that comes, again, from that market mechanics course. Understanding from the Learning Center here, this market mechanics course, understanding how these markets work, will give you a deeper insight to what's going on. Okay, and learning, and then building your trading plan, understanding your setup, and then starting to trade it and manage it. Okay, so we don't know the outcomes. However, we do know over time that the outcome will be more likely to unfold, okay, due to the probabilities. It is all probabilities. And that can be a hard thing to understand. It's like we want it to be like a some sort of simple math problem. If I do this, then I should get that. And that's not how it works. Okay, if you do this in here, you may get it. You may not. Okay, so look at this here. Buyers coming in. Here's the retest into this area several times. Not enough sellers in here. Okay, and then so we're just trying to understand this, all of this in here, okay, and then relate that to current price action. Okay, so buyers, do we see a lot of buyers back up here? No. And we're retesting back down here and finding some sellers. Okay, so I'm looking for them to break it here, right? And this is why we go through scenarios, and that's really important to understand. Looking for sellers down here, looking for the order book to more on the offer, less on the bid, and then looking for these sellers to hit into the figure down here, this liquidity down here. Okay, that would be it. Now, what are we getting though? We're getting a conflict here. Look at the bid. They're actually showing interest on the bid. Now, what about the structure and what about the volume within it? Well, now I'm starting to see a little bit of buying. I don't know then. Hands off. Like, I'm looking for sellers down here, not buyers. Now, we got a retest. Okay, sellers, let's see it then. Okay, it should be able to hit down into 4,800. Okay, now let's look at this in here. Okay, what is the likelihood of still going down into 4,800? Well, look at the bid in here. Is this something you really want? Is it more likely because you see these traders lined up on the bid? No, I would say no. Right, I would shy away from this then on the sell side. Okay, because I don't have all the pieces in here. I know there's buyers lined up in here. Okay, where we didn't have that earlier. Well, we did a little bit. They started to pull in here and we got our move. But no, I should take that back. Like they were showing some interest here on the bid. This was more about the aggressors, and we did not have much on the offer though. But we did have the market structure on our side. So lower highs and finding sellers down in here. Okay, whereas here, actually we traded down here several times and we couldn't get through, and then I am looking for buyers to try to take it back up to here or maybe up into here. Okay, and not enough. Sellers come in. Now I'm looking for sellers to take it down, okay, into here. Okay, and yeah, didn't quite get it. And here we are again. Now we're seeing them pull, and there's our move. Okay, so we saw that last second, and look at this. Now we had something more. Okay, so we had liquidity here on the offer at a lower area here and here. They were still on the bid, but we're getting our sellers. Okay, so we had at least one more thing that helped us here. And what about our structure and our volume within that structure? Well, we tested up here again. We can't make it to the swing. We get a double top in here, and we do not see a lot of buying in here. Look at the kind of reduction here in the buying. All right, and we see our sellers come in, bit of a pullback. Sellers come in, they're pulling some of that liquidity in here. See our sellers in here looking for the push. Okay, we also have on the offer here a bit of wind at our back in here to push it through. Okay, granted, we still have these guys. They're starting to pull in here and here. We can see that. Okay, but they are staying in here though too. It's not like they're just kind of pulling the rug away from us. Okay, and then if so, we'd even look for a better move, right? Okay, now we can do that on all time frames as well. Okay, bid looks pretty good down here now. At this swing, they're supporting it. Okay, we see demand down here. We're getting buyers now down here too. Okay. Okay, let's see a little more demand in here. Do we see buyers again? All right, buyers, take it up to the swing. Take it up to this liquidity up here at 0.05, 0.06. Yeah, there we go. Look at the bid. Finding buyers, continuation. Okay, guys, not making this stuff up. Really, look at the bid. Look at the reaction. We were looking for it in real time. Okay, So now back up to here, I would look for a bit of a pullback in here. It's come up to this area in here where it dropped from. And what do? They pull liquidity. Now the sellers can hit it down to, maybe this 02 or 03 area here. Okay, first stop would be in here, this little kind of break and then break out, or I'm sorry, pause and then break out. Okay, we're actually through that. So let's see if the sellers can hit it down to 0.01 actually, this liquidity. All right, this was a good example. This was really good in real time in here. Okay. And we also, what more did we have in here? What more did we learn from kind of reflecting off of this liquidity in here? So yeah, we were looking for the move through it, but we also noted like, wow, okay, they're still kind of on the bid. Some of it pulled, some of it traded. And also here, it traded. Okay. And then we found buyers come back in and start moving this. We saw the move back up, a bit of a pause here, and then we again saw the liquidity coming in here, supporting demand on the bid, looking for the move higher. Now it's all short time frame, but it's the same thing here. Let's zoom out. Let's look at a higher time frame, gain some perspective. Okay, well, sellers have moved this market from this point on. This is the important point. It's up here. Okay, we have swings here and this swing here, but let's take a look here. Now buyers coming back up to this swing. I'm not getting much on the bid, but the aggressors continue to go after it here. There's some on the bid. Now let's see the reaction to that. We should get a push into this 10 level here. And we see the reaction is sellers. Now here's a little bit more on the bid. Let's see. Here we go. Now they should be able to trade 10 and through it. Okay, look at the bid. Now these guys aren't pulling their liquidity, but we're looking for the test into it. There they are. Okay, and they're still in here though, so this is telling us something. Okay, now they're testing this liquidity here. And now if we found that liquidity and this demand at this higher level here, and they pulled here and we found our aggressors, we'd look for the move through it. More likely, I should say. Again, it's all, it's the likelihood of the move. All right, let me see any questions in here. Morning, McLoco. Welcome back. Let's see, finding the most important thing to identify. Caesar. Caesar's new to the Bookmap Academy, so great to see you in here. What do you have to say? Well, I see Stephen also talking about mids and VWAPs and all these things, which maybe I should speak more of. You guys continue to bring up these levels, but it really, these levels are made by the price action, and they're made by the order flow. It's not, they're not set in stone. They're not, if you've tested it, if you've back tested it, that's something else. But that's, it's just a line on a chart. Okay, so I would suggest to look at look at this, guys. There's some great absorption here. Shark Blue, look at this one, beauty. Look at, did you hear that? And you guys would have heard that in on YouTube. Look at this here. Okay, so let me bring up the iceberg. There's a huge iceberg here that was just absorbing all of that. And we saw it in real time. I love this kind of stuff. Okay, so this liquidity traded at this 10 level here, and then there's no more liquidity. In fact, there was an iceberg for a while in here. Let's just see how long he's been in here. Actually, he moved it up. This is, we can see the behavior of this iceberg the whole way through. Let's just keep zooming out. All right, so it looks like it initiated here and started to execute here. Executed here, lifted it, moved it up to this 10 level, and then we can see it's still executing in here, and lots of other icebergs in here though. It's this one in particular we're interested in. At 10, there's another execution here, 50, and then I started to hear market pulls tick off here, and all of these transactions here, they're all icebergs. Okay, this is what absorption looks like. Now it actually traded through, and we see a little stop run above it here of 248. Okay, but this was fully executed for 3,000 here. Okay, fully executed iceberg, 3,000 lots. This player got what he wanted. And you heard the trading right into it. It was just going tick, 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 and it wasn't going anywhere. Shark Blue, you might want to watch the recording on that. This is what it sounds like. This is what it looks like. But this is an iceberg here. Okay, nice little stop run above it. So it was absorbed up to this point, and then it broke out actually. So it was absorbed though to here. Now, a lot of times you'll see, it depends on the player. This guy got what he wanted. He got his 3,000 lot filled, and he's out. And they were able to market. There's still more buyers after that, aggressive buyers who moved it higher. As simple as that. Okay, so technically it traded through that, but they were completely absorbing here with an iceberg and with high liquidity right here. So listen to it in the recording on YouTube. I think you'll gain a lot of information from that, a lot of insight. Okay, now look at this. Where buyers are back up above it. Okay, great. So there's still more buying pressure. I'm looking for them to take it higher, okay, and to continue buying here, okay, into 14 and then our 15 level up here. Okay, so I want to see them trade through 15 now. We have the potential now to trade through 15 and trade up to our 20 level now. Okay, let's see, do we have enough buying pressure? Okay, look at this. They're still defending it here. Someone's defending it. Look at the offer up at 15. Okay, so now after seeing that, I kind of take it back. It's like, yeah, we traded up to 15. Are we going to be able to trade through this? Well, I bet you we'll see an attack here by the buyers. Can they trade through it, though, is a big question now. So let's see, do we get a little bit of buying up here at this kind of 13 1/4? If so, there they are. Let's see if them trade up to this kind of 15 level here. They got to get through this liquidity here at 14 1/4 or 14. All right, here we go. All right, buyers, let's see. Can you trade? This is, we're going to watch the battle unfold. Can they trade into and through this? Very, very weak on the buy side here. They couldn't even trade to this 14 level here. Okay, so let's we're seeing that there's not enough. Watch the sellers. They're going to take it probably back down to here. Just looking for these levels in here. It's not, I'm not trying to it sounds horrible to say like it's going to trade down to here now. I'm just looking for, this is an area that looks like we might see a reaction down here. That's all. Okay. Now, then we want to look at the order flow at that level. That's all, right? And so we have our ideas, and then we're looking for the move back up to here. Okay, and we're looking, just going through these scenarios in here. Now, do we get buyers up here? Yeah, they're starting to come back. Okay, now we got a bit of a rotation. Okay, buyers here. All right, so yeah, I don't see much on the bid, but I'm still looking for buyers to trade into 14. Okay, they seem to be buying. They seem to be interested. So I'm looking for the move up into 14. Okay. And we'll see there might be enough in here to trade through 14 into that 15 and 16. Now, again, we don't have much on the bid to support that. So sellers can, again, move it back down into maybe here or this previous level we had here. We'll keep an eye on it. Okay, but there is buying interest up at these levels here. Okay, so now let's see, we got our pullback here. Now let's see, do we still find buyers? Nope. Let's see if they can pull it away. All right, here's a bit. Now let's see them move back up to 14 now. So now this is another thing, like, in terms of market structure and trapped volume, we can start to look at this and identify more likely the move up to 14 now if we can get these buyers, because we have these sellers in here that will become buyers up into these levels up here. Okay, and that can be the fuel that will move price up into these areas here. It will be these sellers having to cover, and that's when we look for our stop runs as well. Okay, so this can be kind of what helps slingshot price up into these levels here. Okay, again, look at these sellers here. If we can get buyers up here at 13, looking great. Watch them have to cover. Okay, now I'm seeing on the offer a little bit more liquidity here. All right, so I don't think we're ready. I don't see much on the bid here. Okay, so there's someone is definitely defending these areas up here. Okay, but we still show buying interest though. Okay, so now what was 13 or 14 here, now we can see some liquidity here at 13. Okay, so it's a little more convoluted. All right, so now we found buyers at least traded into 13. And that is it. Okay, here we go again. Let's see it. Let's see if buyers they got to get back up to here at 13. We're seeing some of the volume here. All right, the bid, now the bid looks better. Okay, now I'm just looking for buyers here at this 12.5 or 12.25. And there we go. Let's see it, buyers. Now you should be able to take this. Okay, the bid is showing a bit more activity here on the bid. Okay, and we're finding our buyers. Now we're looking for the move. It's more likely, it's more probable in that sense, okay, because we have some a reaction to this liquidity in here. And it goes against me. All right, well, let's see that if these sellers are going to trade into this. Are these buyers still in here? No, they're not. Okay, so actually the opposite is happening here. It's the buyers here that are going to be trapped, and we're going to see the stop run to the downside here. Okay, so this was the trap in here. Okay, so we got to rotate lower, and then we're still looking for buyers from this point onward here, right? So we'll see if we get another rotation back up here, and then the breakout into the 16, 15, and 16. 15 and 16 has been kind of a bear here, and they just can't trade through it yet. Okay, let's see. Now, down here, we'd look again for these buyers to attack. Again, kind of, it's like retreating and then regathering forces here and then attacking back up here. Okay, so back up to where it dropped from here at this 11.5. And then let's see if they can get back up to here and then finally get our breakout up into that 16. Okay, so that would be the kind of starts to kind of explain some of the rotations in the markets. That you know, trying to get through, capitulation, but then attack again. Okay, at a lower level, you've got a better price. Okay, so here we go. Our buyers are back up here again, and looking for them to trade back up to this 13. Okay, we don't have much on the bid here. Days like this, I really don't like it when we don't have that bid on our side. Guys, hit that like button if you can. Let's give us some feedback here. Here we go. Here's our buyers again. Now again, like, you know, we've been looking for it this whole webinar. We know that they're still auctioning up here, and we get these retests up here. This one's been a tough nut to crack, this 15 level up here. But we do see the buying interest is still coming back in. Okay, here's some exhaustion here, so that's not good. Okay, bid is starting to show a little bit more action here. Down here though, 8.5 to 10. Okay, so let's see if we can. There's a little bit more. And let's see it if we can just auction a bit more in here. Buy side, there we go. All right, so now let's see here. So we got a quick move up here. It's immediately pulled back. I'm still looking for these buyers though, and I want to see. We'll see a lot of times, like when we start to come up into these areas, these guys have been very consistent on the offer up at these higher levels here. A lot of times we'll see them give up, and they'll pull. There's been so many attacks on it. They're just like willing to just pull that liquidity and look for a better price at a higher level. Okay, but no, they're still fighting it here at 12 3/4. So yeah, a lot of interest in here to keep this keep price down. And we can see the buyers, they just keep coming back. This is gonna, if it can get through this 15, it's gonna be a nice move. It should be a strong move. Let's take a look at our higher time frame in here. Yeah. So, this is something, another thing like we can pull away from the higher time frame candles. If we look at this in here. So we've tested up here once, twice, thrice, and we're coming up again. Okay. So that's what I mean. A lot of times that liquidity up here has finally kind of met its match. And we look for the breakout, and we could get a really nice move on one of these breakouts here. Right. So here they come. Now we've traded up to 14, and we did find those buyers. Okay. So it's already pulled back right to where it broke out from. And we'll continue to watch this here. And then we've got to get going here pretty soon. Okay, bid is starting to show a little more action at higher levels in here. That's good. Okay, majority, now this is what we're leaning on again. Let's zoom in here. Okay, so buyers, okay, cluster is selling in here, but we're back up above it, and we see buying, and we just had a nice big kind of barrage of buying up here. And we can't get back up there. Okay, and now sellers coming in. This is really back and forth. I mean, that selling that just came in is they might be on their back foot up here. If we can get our buyers back up here at 13 and overpower them, it is more likely we'll get the move to 15, 16. Okay, looking pretty good so far. All right. We're back up above it on some buying. Still looking for it. And another rotation. Okay. Let's see if we get the bid in here again. And let's see if no, we're not getting it. Okay, so the scenario that we're looking for, at least on the buy side in here, is relates to this higher time frame in here. See the wicks up in here, right? So we just retested back up here. Okay, and we didn't make it through, and we see the sellers starting to come in now, pretty hard. Okay, but we're still looking for the potential to come up there one more time, and then to break out. So we're looking for where this might go for support. Okay, what area in here would we look for in here? Well, we can look for maybe this kind of structural area here. Around 05, there was a swing here, another swing here. Okay, and then what else are we going to look for? Let's look at some of the volume and some of the liquidity in here. So we said 05 is not bad. That makes sense as well here due to the breakout here. Okay, so our structure again in this area here. Okay, if we're going to get that reattack back to the high. All right. Well, it's this is the bid looks pretty good in here on this higher time frame, 05 to 07 here. But we do see some action here on the offer up here. And we're not getting too much out of the reaction to this bid here. Right? So we're holding off on this. Really want to see us come back up here and see that buying activity. This might be it though. Like we've been up here 1, 2, 3, 4 times, maybe 5 times, or 4.5, let's say, and we just couldn't find enough to get through. And in fact, we made a lower high here. However, we've traded up here a bunch. So if we can get up here, I'm looking again for a breakout in here. Okay, and then back up into on the hourly here or the daily, some of these swings up in these areas here. Okay, maybe up to 36. Okay, so struggling to get through this area in here. Okay, big pullback here, but we're back up. We back up a couple of times. So we know even on this 15-minute chart, there's still buying pressure in here. So we'd look for another attack up to at least up to like this 13 level. Makes good sense. And that would be up around here. Okay, this swing. All right, guys. Well, anyway, waiting and watching for that to see if we can get that move to work out. This has been a pretty good example of some absorption in here. And this move back down, all the way back down to here, and then the move back up again. So yeah, I'm still really kind of curious for another reattack back up into this 15 and maybe the breakout that we've been looking for. All right, so thanks everybody for coming. We'll catch up with you on Friday. Tomorrow we have JTrader and stocks, and also Bookmap Academy meeting for you guys in the Bookmap Academy. We'll go through some of your trades. If you're interested in that, where you go to the More button on bookmap.com. Go to Bookmap Academy here. We will review your trades and give coaching and mentoring. And you can also get Bookmap for free if you go through the process in here. Right? So anyway, hope this was helpful in going through the decision-making process, going through some trades, looking for this context between liquidity and aggressors and structure, and then looking for the move to unfold, okay, due to that context. So yeah, we'll have a good day, everybody. We'll catch up with you on Friday.